Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about Darklords once again, this time utilizing the Condemned Witch. This card is interesting. When it's normal summons, you can add a Forbidden Quick Play spell card from your deck to your hand. Guess what? Forbidden Droplets counts as that, which is why we are even considering this card. But you can tribute this card during your opponent's main phase. You can tribute this card in order to special summon a level 4 fairy type monster from your deck. Pretty nice. Now, I know what you're thinking. SnowiKs, how good is this deck? It's terrible. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is probably the worst version of Darklords that I have played thus far. So if you have other ways to play this deck, do. But I decided to experiment with it, see how it went, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it was just hard to get any duels. Like, I got to Plat 1, and now I am just going up against the most boring of players. Either they will surrender after a singular form of interaction, or they make boards that take 10 minutes just to make, and then I have to sit there because I lost the die roll. It's not fun. And that was the experience I had with this deck. And so I ended up playing a bit more, going second options. But even with that being said, like, just due to the nature of this card and the amount of stuff that you have to play with the card, I can't really play too many going second options. So let's just quickly do the card by card. Triple Max C, we are playing the one Ukobak for Indulged Darklord, which we can get off of the Condemned Witch. So, of course, we're only playing the two Indulged. We're playing one Amdusk, double Nastin, double Superbia, one Tez, triple Ixchel, one Morningstar. That's the monster lineup. Pretty simple. We are playing one Raigeki, one Harpy's Feather Duster, one Monster Reborn, which is basically an additional contact. We're playing triple Reasoning. This card is crazy in Darklords. Play it. We are playing triple Banishment of the Darklord, triple Contact, obviously. The one Lightning Storm, triple Pot of Prosperity. This card does conflict with specifically Ixchel because it prevents you from drawing cards. It also conflicts with Maxi. However, being able to see a good card like Banishment or like a Contact or whatever it may be, while losing only slight advantage from the extra deck, is totally fine. We're playing one Forbidden Chalice to search, one Forbidden Lance to search, and two Forbidden Droplets also to search, but more so just because Forbidden Droplet is crazy. We are playing the one Called by the Grave. This should be two, but I only have the one. We are playing one Rebellion, one Enchantment, one Uprising, and one Infinite Impermanence. Again, you could play more of this. Honestly, I would say just take it out for the extra Called by, but it does come up occasionally. It's nice to have. But yeah, all of these, like, going second options could just basically be any going second option. The big things is like Chalice, Lance, and the at least two Droplets. So, yeah. Moving on to the extra deck, we have one Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This can also be fusion summoned off of our Darklord Uprising, which is why we have it. We have the one first Darklord. Realistically, this could be two, but one is fine enough. Since you can also bring it back off of Contact or a copied Contact. Moving on, we have our Xyz. We have one Ravenous Tarantula, one Power Pain Gainer, one Seven Sins, and one AA Zeus. Most of the time, I just banish these off of the Pot of Prosperity. I never use them. We have one Nightmare Cerberus. It's okay. We have one Phoenix. It's okay. We have two Condemned Darklords. Realistically, you don't need more than this. If you ever end up going into three, oftentimes you could also just bring it back off of like a Superbia. So there's that. One Geonator Transverser, also most of the time just banish. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, one Apollosa, one Access Code, and one Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So that's the deck. Let's hop into some replays and see how this goes. Now, before we get into these duels, I just wanted to say that, did you know, almost 80%, over 80% of the people who watch my channel are not subscribed? That's all. Alright, so this one was actually played in a duel room because I was literally getting so incredibly unlucky with a lot of the duels that I was having in Platinum. Not just like I was losing a whole bunch, but it was just people surrendered after a single thing. You know, people never really wanted to play the game. So I ended up playing against my opponent in a duel room. But yeah, I am going to, during the end phase there, since I had the imperm, I'm going to negate the Shizuku so that it doesn't actually gain anything. Pretty simple. Yeah, I mean, they're playing Sky Striker. Pretty easy here. We're going to go for Ixchel, sending the Indulged. They're going to max CS here. Kind of sucks, but, I mean, not a whole lot that I can do about this. I'm hoping that I draw into, like, Called By, but I don't. We're going to go for the Banishment here to search up the Contact. And then I am going to Raigeki because I realized that they don't have any Rays in Grave, so I'm just going to deal with that Shizuku. Was it the perfect time? Probably not, but I mean, it's at least something. I'm going to go for Ixchel here. They are Ixchel to Contact. They are going to activate Widow Anchor, and I'm like, that sucks. It's fine, though. I'm going to go for the Monster Reborn so that I can grab myself an Indulged here, because again, knowing that even though I am playing into Max C, knowing that they are playing Sky Striker, putting a singular card onto their side of the field in a main monster zone is really problematic, so that's why I'm committing so much to it. I'm going to then search for Morningstar because I do have, I don't have anything in Grave, but I do have Droplets, so I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, they are going to Ray and then also grab themselves the Area 0. Now, this card is dumb. For some reason, the cost is to target a card. The cost is not like target a card and send it to the grave or anything like that. No, you just have to target. So it still gets the effect while also tributing off in order to special summon their Hayate. They're going to search for their this thing because it protects their monster from being affected by card effects. So there's that. They're going to try and banish our Ixchel. I'm going to send away the Indulged. They are going to use their Eagle Booster in order to protect their monster. And then I am going to activate the Ixchel in order to bring back the Indulged so that Indulged can give them another monster, turning off a lot of their cards. Again, just trying to get cards off of their side of the field is the main selling point here. Or the main go point. Realistically, I could have put that guy into attack position, but I didn't because I don't know, I'm dumb. But yeah, they go Shizuku here, and then they go to the end phase. For some reason, they just went immediately to the end phase instead of like attacking. I don't know why that was the case, but they did. And then they go for Engage here. I draw a Max C for turn, which is kind of interesting, and they also have another Max C because of course they do. Not a whole lot that I can do about that, but you know, feels bad sometimes. I drew Uprising, which is like okay, especially since I get the Ixchel back. It's like, maybe I could do something here. They're going to target their Amdusk, and I am going to search a card, or at least try. Turns out they have impermanence. Not a whole lot I can do about that, but you know, feels bad, man. I was going to be able to search so that I could go for Uprising here, but it turns out I cannot do that. They're going to reveal a couple of cards, and none of them are addable, so they just have to send it to the grave. I'm going to Max C here. The reason being is because if they have anything that special summons, or just any sort of spell effect, I would not have the chance to activate it, or activate Max C in response, so I go for it now in case it gets stopped in any way. So we go for this, and then multi-roll activates, and is, they actually didn't use the effect, which I thought they would, but they just didn't. They go into the second Zeke, and we are going to grab up a Pot of Prosperity off of our Max C. I am going to activate the effect of Darklord Uprising. The reason for this is because, I do have the target of the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, so I'm going to send the two monsters on the field to go for the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. And it allows me to gain a whole bunch of life points. Since I've drawn Pot of Prosperity as well as Max C, I don't feel too bad with going for this. However, I knew that they had a way to deal with my monster because I knew they had Engage, but it still allows me to pop a card in order for them to go for Ray here. And then they go and attack. And then during main phase 2, they're going to set a few cards and then end the turn. Pretty reasonable. But all in all, I did end up getting 2 draws, so it's fine. However, now I have to deal with 4 setback row. I know that at least one of them is a Engage, which I can't really, like, it's not activatable at this point, so I'm not too worried. However, we did draw into the Condemned Witch. So we're going to normal summon the Condemned Witch to go for Lance here. This was a bit of a mistake. I was like, hey, that's a lot of back row, you know, maybe I have to deal with that. But in all reality, it's almost always better just to search Droplet. I do search Lance a couple of times against back row, but it's realistically just most of the time better for droplets. I end up revealing one or two reasonings, actually. So I'm going to go for reasoning. It's just the best one that I ended up revealing. They call level 3. I don't know why. Sure. We're going to go for Superbia. They're going to chain their Ray. I'm going to chain my Maxi, hoping and praying that it goes through, and it does, because I really need this draw. They go for Heine here, and I'm actually really dumb, because Pot of Prosperity prevents me from drawing. So that Maxi was really bad, but, I mean, not a whole lot that I can do there. I'm going to go for our Condemned Darklord, and then I'm going to activate Banishment, which I forget what I drew it off of. I don't remember how I got this. But we go for the contact back through Superbia. Superbia effect, contact back the Ixchel. Ixchel effect is going to activate contact in order to bring back the Amdusk. Amdusk here is going to activate in order to go for the fusion monster. For some reason, I wasn't negated, so I was wondering if they had a negate, and they did bring it back, so I don't know why they didn't try and negate something there. But they didn't. So we're going to go for the first Darklord here, and we are going to actually just bring back the Superbia again, and they're going to try to negate the Superbia way too late. I can no longer be targeted with the first Darklord, so huge mistake from them for even letting me go this far. They should have negated the first Superbia, or even Ixchel. There were a million better ways to negate me there. I'm actually going to special summon back off of the Superbia, the Indulged, in order to grab even more advantage and to put another monster on their side of the field. I'm going to deal with the Ray here, and we will just proceed from there. I'm going to then link off into Condemned, because I am running low on life points, so I'm just going to do that in order to grab as much life points as I can. Now, here I make a huge mistake. I grab the Indulged. However, I only have 3 monsters that are currently in deck. Before grabbing this, Indulged and 2 Nastins. Now, had I still had both of those in deck, I would have been able to use the Indulge that I had in Grave in order to actually put another monster on their side of the field. But, because I can't put one on their side of the field and search one of a different name, I'm not actually able to do that. But I do gain the 2,000 life points, which is really nice. They're going to grab back, they're engaged here, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that. We do have Lance, though, to protect us, and I don't really think that they're going to get any monsters that are going to be able to deal with the first Darklord under a Lance. So here, during their main phase, I'm just going to search up Rebellion here, just because I can. And then they are going to link off into Nightmare Phoenix. Now, oddly enough, they don't actually activate the effect of Nightmare Phoenix, which is kind of weird. But again, here, because multi-roll is activating, I'm going to activate my Forbidden Lance, just so that I, if they end up activating anything that can target, or not even target, but just destroy my first Darklord through a spell effect, I'm able to stay safe. So, that's what I do there. I'm going to activate the first Darklord here to bring back a Superbia. Superbia's effect is going to bring back the Indulged. And here, the reason that I did this was because I thought I could give them a monster, but I ended up not actually being able to, because again, I don't have any targets in deck. They're going to search a card and then add a card off of the... sorry, a lot of things happened. First of all, they activated the effect of Maneuver, which allowed them to non-target destroy a monster on the field. For some reason, they went for Condemned instead of Amdusk. Amdusk is way better. I guess it doesn't really matter since I already have the first Darklord protected, but, I mean, realistically, getting rid of the first Darklord would have been better. Then they go for Engage in order to search a card and add a card. So they search out Ray and then draw a card. And then they ended up drawing into a Pankratops, which is kind of funny, off of the second Engage's draw. So they are just going to attack and, deal with some of my monsters. But at this point, they can't really do anything, which is kind of funny, but, not a whole lot you can do. They're going to activate their Toon Table of Contents to get just 2 extra spells into Grave. But again, since Pankratops cannot target any of our monsters under the first Darklord, we're able to just kind of continue playing the game, no problem. Here I'm going to go Superbia. Superbia is going to bring back the Condemned. I'm going to activate the Amdusk here in order to search out Contact. The reason being, we haven't used Contact yet this turn, and I'm going to go for a Link 4 of Access Code Talker. Is this the best play? Probably not, given the fact that both Pankratops can activate in order to deal with it, and it does just that. But I was kind of like, in all honesty, I don't really need to deal with this. Or I don't need access code to deal with this board. So I was like, yeah, let's just go access code here. We're going to go Superbia. Superbia is going to bring back another Condemned. And then I'm going to normal summon. And then I will link everything away because this is lethal with Underworld Goddess. As you can see, that is 7,000 damage on the field. And we know at least one of the cards in hand. Or, no, we know two. We knew it was Ray and a Toon Table of Contents. But yeah, that's lethal. It, kind of wacky. Alright, so here we are in our second match. And this time we actually get to go first. Did we go first last time? I don't remember. Anyway, we're going to Ixchel for 2, and then we are going to go for Allure. We're going to banish one we're going to banish one of the Nastins, and then we are able to go for our banishment of the Darklord to search out Contact. They are going to max CS here. Feels bad. Not a whole lot that we can do about that. So I'm just going to special summon out the Ixchel, because I have to, and then I'm going to activate my search in order to search for Morningstar, because we already have Uprising in Grave. I'm going to then normal summon the Indulged in order to send a banishment here. So yeah, at this point we can nuke the field, which is basically the only interruption that we have, but we do have Tez in hand, which is pretty nice. They are going to go for Duel Solfachord. Solfacords. I don't really know what they do. So here I see that they have 2 Pendulum monsters, and I'm like, they can go into an Electromite right here, and if they do, they get a whole lot of advantage just off of the summon of it. So I'm like, I'm going to nuke the field here, because they could have more plays, but if they don't, like, I don't know what Pendulum scales they might have already. You know, I mean, they have 4 cards in hand, but I'm like, I don't really know what they're going to have. Are they going to have, like, spells or anything? I've never played against this deck, so I just go for the field nuke here. And, I mean, target protection is pretty nice. A lot of decks have a hard time dealing with that. Turns out they have Astrograph Sorcerer in hand, so going for that field nuke was an absolutely abysmal idea. I mean, not a whole lot that I can do about that. You know, they drew the one of. Fun. They're going to add back one of their face-up Solfachord monsters. They now have the Pendulum Scales necessary. They're even going to increase one of the Pendulum Scales. I don't know why. It doesn't do anything. But yeah, they're going to Pend Summon for 3, which is absolutely crazy. I can't believe that they had 3 monsters with which to deal with, or with which to summon. They had 1 from the extra deck, and then the other 2 in hand. They literally drew an entire Pendulum monster lineup. Absolutely crazy. And Maxi. Absolutely insane. But they ended up destroying our monster non-targeting by just attacking in with this guy. So yeah, here they go for Electromite. They're going to place the monster face up, and then they are going to go for IP Masquerena. At this point, I know exactly what's coming, and it is Avramax. Oh, how I despise this card. I despise it. It's so incredibly boring to deal with. You know, if it's sent away, it does stuff. If it is, you know, it can't be targeted. It can't be destroyed. You just have to, like, do it. It's so freaking irritating. I hate this card. Genuinely. It's just irritating. But, doesn't matter. We bring back the first Darklord. Happy day. Contact is a cool card. We're actually going to do this during the standby phase. I don't remember why I did this during the standby phase, but I did. We're going to bring back the Amdusk. Amdusk is then going to search Enchantment. Enchantment gets us to lethal here. So I'm actually just going to Enchantment, steal their Avramax because it doesn't target, and then I'm going to attack in for lethal. Didn't have to deal with the Avramax, you know? But man, I hate that card. Moving on. Anyway, here we are once again going first. This deck basically dies if it ends up going second. Like, you kinda can do stuff, but realistically, it's terrible. Also, I was playing a slightly different build. As you see, we have Nurgle as well as Capricious. It's okay, but it all honestly doesn't matter. We ended up drawing into Lance here, which is pretty funny, but, I mean, it's nice. We're going to activate our Contact off of the Ixchel to bring back Nurgle. Nurgle effect is going to activate in order to search. I forget what I searched for here. Oh, yeah, I searched for Uprising. I don't know why I did that. I genuinely don't know why I did that. Anyway, we're going to go Condemned here. We're going to go Condemned. I'm going to actually send the Forbidden Lance, and then I'm going to set a Called By and just pass. This was incredibly just foolish of me. I really should have sent the Uprising and then added a Morningstar. I think I thought that I didn't have another, or that I had another normal, when in reality I didn't. But I still should have gone for the Morningstar. It doesn't end up mattering too much, but that was incredibly dumb of me. They go to battle phase, which means that they have evenly matched. But because of Capricious, or just the fact that I gave them a monster, they can't activate it from hand. So there's that. I'm going to activate my Maxi here. I know that this doesn't special summon, but I was like, I don't know. Don't they have something that like special summons from hand, like as an inherent special summon? So yeah, they're going to go for Heartland Draco, which draws me a card, and then they were just going to end the turn. I think they thought that, again, it could be, or it could attack, but they had already gone to battle. Here, I actually do the correct play and search out the Morningstar by pitching the Uprising. I'm going to go for the Uprising here, and they are going to Orange Light me. Turns out, I have Called By, so I'm just going to banish that and not have to deal with it. So we're going to go for the Fusion here, and I believe that this is lethal, so I don't even do anything. I just, like, Fusion summon it, nuke the field, and then attack in for lethal. Just change everything to attack, and we huge. So here comes out the first Darklord. We're going to switch our Nurgle to attack after nuking the field, and then just attack in for lethal. Which, I mean, I didn't want to have to deal with things like evenly matched and such, so... yeah. Alright, so honestly, how good is this deck? It's way worse than pure Darklords, and the reason for it is because you're playing this card and other cards associated with it, when it's better to just play generic, like, hand traps or stuff like that. Generic going second tools, what have you. And this card specifically doesn't do anything unless it is normal summoned. Right? I mean, technically, if you special summon it off of, like, Superbia, you can get the effect where during your opponent's main phase, you can special summon a level 4 fairy monster from your deck. The only target being something like Indulged. I mean, I guess you could also go for something like a Capricious, and then if you have a Morningstar in hand, you could also go for a Morningstar tribute summon. But in all honesty, that's, like, okay at best. Morningstar doesn't really get you advantage unless it's on your turn, so you could just wait to do that on your turn and then still get the advantage. You could also go for something like Condemned Maiden. Let me show you. This card, which can allow you to play quick play spells from your hand during your opponent's turn. It's okay, and it only allows you to do that once. Like, it's fine. But again, it's just not worth it, especially with how competitive a lot of the ranked duel is, specifically in Platinum. When you're trying to climb, you're gonna see a lot of meta decks, or at least decks that are going to put up a lot more interactions than, you know, 1 or 2, right? Granted, to be fair, if you do go first with Darklords and you're able to normal summon out your Indulged, oftentimes just giving your opponent something can turn off a lot of their stuff, which is kind of funny. But, I mean, all in all, it's just not worth it. I like the idea, but in practice, it's pretty bad. However, notably, this card would be really good in a budget version of this deck. You know, something where you're only able to use, like, 3 to 6 super rares or something along those lines. Yeah, so it's fine. It's just not great, and it could definitely be better. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, a like is very much appreciated, and if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.